The process is called as a condensation. Now I know it is too much bouncer to you. Just have an example in front of you. You will define your condensation at your own words. Okay? A bottle, a water bottle which is taken out from the fridge and it is exposed to the atmosphere. Okay? What is the surface temperature of that bottle? It is somehow say 10 degrees centigrade. And what is the air temperature in the room? It is 35 degrees centigrade. Now the air is consist of a dry air as well as the water molecules. Yes or no? So what is going to happen? Over a surface of a bottle, you will find a layer of a droplets of a water. Okay? That layer of a droplet is nothing but your condensate, which is formed by giving out the latent heat to the surface. ठीक है, जो ड्रॉपलेट काइंड ऑफ ये होता है, फिल्म होता है बॉटल के ऊपर, वो क्या होता है? वो होता है आपका कंडेंसेट. ठीक है. हाउ इट इज बिन फॉर्म? बिकॉज द सरफेस टेम्परेचर ऑफ दैट बॉटल इज मेंटेन्ड लोअर देन द सराउंडिंग टेम्परेचर और saturation temperature of that vapor. ठीक है, of that vapor. So therefore the phase change from vapor to liquid by giving out latent heat to the surface, which is maintained below, or lower than the saturation temperature. The process is called a condensation. Just remember the cold water bottle placed in an air, the water droplets around over a surface. Okay? So that process is nothing but a condensation. Now types of a condensation. The first one is the film condensation and second one is the drop wise condensation. Okay? Now what do you mean by film wise condensation? The film is formed over a surface, means a uniform layer of a water is going to form over a surface, while in a drop wise condensation some drops are being formed at a surface. Okay? Droplets are being formed at a surface. Now what is going to happen to the heat transfer rate? The heat transfer rate in a case of a film condensation is lower, because this layer of a film is going to offer the resistance to the flow of a heat. Okay? While in a drop wise condensation, what is going to happen? There will be partially droplet, partially surface. So what is going to happen? It will have a higher heat transfer rate as compared to the film wise condensation. As compared to the film wise condensation. And as you all know, the water is not going to have much more thermal conductivity, so it is not going to give out it heat. So maximum resistance is going to form at a film condensation than the dropwise condensation. So high heat rate is been observed in a dropwise condensation and low heat rate it is been observed in a film wise condensation. Okay? Now, is it practically easier to achieve this dropwise condensation? Not at all. It is practically very difficult to achieve dropwise condensation by man-made system. Yes, by nature it is possible. ठीक है, nature it is possible. Even your dew drops in a morning, it is nothing but a condensation process. It is occurred from the condensation process. Just 1 minute, one more call I'm getting from. I think this is from student. So sorry for the inconvenience. So in a dropwise condensation, what is going to happen? It is practically impossible to attain this dropwise condensation. Yes, naturally it is possible, but man-made it is not possible. Okay? So to have near to the possibility, okay, what we used, man-made this oleic acid condensation promoter. We called it as condensation promoter is been used. Okay? We called it as oleic acid, or highly polished surface also practiced to be a dropwise condensation. So highly practiced highly polished surface. Now you all know that highly polished surface is achieved to the surface roughness. ठीक है? As if your surface roughness is very much high, then you will not able to have the dropwise condensation. So we need to take care of a surface roughness in that case. Okay. Now what will happen if a non-condensable gas is present in a condensation? Okay. Or air drop is present in that droplet. Okay. So it will hinder the heat transfer rate. It is definitely going to hinder the heat transfer rate. Presence of air about 1% of volume can reduce the heat transfer rate by 60% of its value for no air. मतलब एक हमने एक ड्रॉप लिया है उसमें एयर बबल नहीं है और एक हमने ड्रॉप लिया है उसमें एयर बबल है और उन दोनों का हीट ट्रांसफर रेट हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं. सो 1% ऑफ वॉल्यूम अगर रहेगा उस एयर बबल का तो 60% हीट ट्रांसफर रेट कम हो जाएगा. Why is it so? Because of additional resistance induced. ठीक है. थर्मल कॉन्टैक्ट रेजिस्टेंस में कैसे एयर गैप रहता था कंडक्शन में, उसी प्रकार का रेजिस्टेंस इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ डिफ्यूजन रेजिस्टेंस एग्जिस्ट when air bubble is going to be present in a dropwise or in a film condensation. ठीक है. This is most important part. ठीक है. Now, further, the next is the boiling phenomena. Most of this boilers, drum type of boiler, supercritical boiler, subcritical boilers are depend upon this phenomena that is called as a boiling. What do you mean by boiling? If you ask me, what do you mean by boiling? It is heating of a fluid. Definitely, it is a heating of a fluid. It is converting of a fluid from liquid to vapor while extracting the heat from the surface. Okay? The surface is maintained at a temperature higher than the saturation temperature of the liquid. The surface maintain किया जाता है saturation temperature से ज्यादा. Surface temperature maintain किया जाता है above than the saturation temperature of a liquid. So you can have the experiment at your home. What you can do, you can take a utensil, put it on a stove, ठीक है, without any liquid in it. ठीक है. Heat it up to 5 minutes and then pour a liquid, that too a dropwise liquid. What is going to happen? The drop is going to change the liquid form into a vapor form. Why? Because the surface temperature is more than the saturation temperature of the liquid. ठीक है. So this process is known as a boiling. यहाँ पे keywords है liquid to vapor, फिर heat extracting heat from the surface, temperature higher than the saturation temperature, that is called as a boiling. ठीक है. Now there are two types of boiling, pool boiling and forced boiling. Now further, the pool boiling, it has been classified into two types. When the heat is added from a submerged surface which is at a higher temperature than the saturation temperature, the phenomena is known as a pool boiling. Okay, the phenomena is known as a pool boiling. Means what? A water which is placed in a utensil and the whole setup is being placed over a stove. That is nothing but your pool boiling. So it will have subcooled or a local boiling and saturated or a bulk boiling. ठीक है. Type of a pool boiling when liquid is below the saturation temperature. Type of a pool boiling when the liquid is at a saturation temperature. ठीक है. Saturated subcooled boiling में क्या होगा? Type of a boiling fluid when the liquid is maintained at a saturation temperature, and saturated boiling में क्या होगा? Type of a pool boiling when the liquid is at a saturation temperature. Now how does it follow? How does pool boil curve follows? This is the pool boiling curve. Let me minimize it. Yes. So pool boiling curve, at the initial stage when we supply a heat, okay, to the surface and the water has been present in it, so what is going to happen? It will have a natural convection where the temperature difference is just a 5 degree centigrade. Temperature difference between the fluid and the surface temperature. Okay, it is just 5 degrees centigrade. Here the natural convection takes place. Natural convection means what? Moving, having the natural convection current, that is density difference. Density difference में water क्या होगा? Water is going to, hot water is going to replace cold water, and cold water is going to replace by hot water. Okay, so this is the continuous movement because of the density difference occur in a natural convection. Okay, further followed by, as we go on increasing the heat flux, what is going to happen? As we go on increasing the temperature difference, the nucleate region is going to form. Okay, nucleate region is going to form means what? The heat flux drastically increases. Okay, it will reach to the maximum, that is point called as a critical heat flux point or burnout heat flux point. The maximum heat flux is known as a critical heat flux point or a burnout heat flux point. If we go on increasing the temperature difference, what is going to happen? The heat flux is going to decrease. Why it is going to decrease? Because the bubbles are being formed, and those bubbles get accumulated over a surface of the interface of the fluid and the surrounding air. ठीक है, the bubbles form हो जाएगा, तो bubbles form होने के कारण heat transfer rate कम हो जाएगा. So that's why your heat flux is going to decrease, and it will reach to the some minimum point that is called as a Leidenfrost point. Okay, it is called as a Leidenfrost point. Now, if we again increase the temperature difference, what is going to happen? In the next region, you are going to have radiation is going to come in picture. As we increase the temperature difference, definitely the radiation will be dominant, and whatever heat transfer flow rate beyond that temperature difference will be due to the radiation phenomena. So this pool boiling curve, it has been divided as natural convection, then nucleate, then unstable, then stable, then radiation dominated region. Okay, radiation dominating region. Further, the forced boiling. The forced boiling, again, when we induce the water from one end, what is going to happen? It is going to change its phase. How it is going to change its phase from a liquid to vapor? Let us see. Now, this is the latest technology this India and all the foreign countries are using in a boiler. Those boiler are called as a supercritical boiler, in which I have done a PhD. Okay? So those are nothing but a supercritical boiler. Now here, instead of a submerged part, what happens? This side the water comes in the tube, and that side the steam goes outside. So whatever phase change takes place, the phase change takes place inside the tube only. ठीक है, इनिशियली क्या था, एक ड्रम लिया जाता था, उसमें पानी लेकर वो हीट किया जाता था, दैट इज प्रीवियस पूल बॉइलिंग करते थे. ठीक है, लेकिन अब क्या कर रहे हैं, वो फोर्स बॉइलिंग कर रहे हैं. वी इंक्रीज द प्रेशर ऑफ द इनकमिंग वाटर, pressure and the velocity of the incoming water, which is an induced in a tube. So its phase is going to change from liquid to vapor directly. It will not have a wet phase where dryness fraction was been calculated. Dryness fraction का value पता है? Amount of moisture present in the mixture. ठीक है, that one was been calculated. But here no dryness value is been calculated. There will be no phase such as wet phase. Directly सैचुरेटेड लिक्विड से डायरेक्टली आप सुपर हीटेड वेपर में जाते हो, ये फोर्स बॉइलिंग से. ठीक है, हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू फॉर्म? फर्स्ट वन इज द सैचुरेटेड लिक्विड, देन इज द बबल फॉर्मेशन टेक्स प्लेस. फर्दर इज अ cohesion of this bubble. Collision of this bubble means what? This bubble is going to get combined together to form a single bubble, and in that single bubble you are going to have a vapor. Okay, and it is going to convert into a vapor, and this vapor is going to formed at the periphery of this tube. ठीक है, and at the outlet the liquid droplet which are been present, they are also going to get convert into vapor phase, and at the outlet you are going to have a saturated vapor. You are going to have a saturated vapor. So there will be a no any stage where the liquid as well as vapor combinedly together occur. So dryness fraction mostly is been avoided in this forced boiling. Okay. Further speaking, the about is the heat exchanger. Now, what do you mean by heat exchanger? Heat exchanger is the device which is going to help us to transfer the heat from the hot fluid to the cold fluid. Okay? It is going to help us to transfer the energy from hot fluid to the cold fluid. Now, in all kind of a heat exchanger, there are two kinds of a fluid. One is a hot fluid and the other is a cold fluid. A simple definition of hot fluid: the hot fluid will have a maximum temperature, the cold fluid will have a minimum temperature. So the heat transfer rate is going to take place from a maximum temperature towards a minimum temperature. Okay? Let us see the classification. Let us see quickly the classification of a heat transfer, a heat exchanger. The heat exchanger, it has been classified as recuperator, or it is also called as a surface type, or it is called as a transfer type. Okay? In a recuperator, you have a tube in tube type of a heat exchanger. Means there are two concentric tubes. One tube is going to have a cold fluid, other tube is going to have a hot fluid. Okay? Now depend upon the flow, either both the fluids are moving in the same direction, it is called as a parallel flow. Either both the fluids are moving in the opposite direction, it is called as a counter flow. Okay? Next is a shell and tube type of heat exchanger. Shell means what? It is a drum like a structure and tubes are installed inside the shell. Okay? Now what is going to happen? The same tube is going to pass through a different portion of the shell. So depend upon that whether it is a single pass or it is a multiple pass. Okay? Means what? A fluid is going to pass through one tube from at a one point, or it is going to pass through the same point only but at a different path. Okay? Different tubes. Okay? So it is depend upon the single pass and a multiple pass. Okay? Now cross fluid, a cross flow, it is one fluid mixture, both fluid unmixed. Means what? Cross flow, again cross flow, it has a direction perpendicular. The fluid movement will be perpendicular to each other, normal to each other. Cross flow. Okay? One fluid, again it has the type one fluid mixed, means one is getting mixed with other. Both fluid mixed, both fluid are getting mixed. Air is mixed with water, both fluid mixed. Okay? And the third is both fluid unmixed. There are two pipes, one is having a oil, one is having a water. Both are not get mixed, so those are called as a both fluid unmixed. Okay? Next one is a regenerator type. It was a recuperator, now it is a regenerator. Now what do you mean by regenerator? एक मेश है, उसमें से हम पहले क्या करते हैं, हॉट फ्लूइड को पास कर देते हैं. तो मेश क्या करता है, हॉट फ्लूइड से हॉटनेस निकाल के लेता है. मींस हॉट फ्लूइड इज गोइंग टू गिव द हीट रेट टू द मेश, मैट्रिक्स टाइप ऑफ मेश. ठीक है, हॉट फ्लूइड निकल गया. अब नाउ द सेकेंड फेज, सेकेंड पास, वी आर गोइंग टू इंट्रोड्यूस द कोल्ड फ्लूइड. So what is going to happen? The cold fluid is going to interact with that matrix like shape, and it is going to take the heat from that mesh which was been given initially by the hot fluid. So that's why it is called as a regenerator. Hot fluid ने मैट्रिक्स को दे दिया, मैट्रिक्स ने कोल्ड फ्लूइड को दे दिया. ठीक है. Now there are different types. One is the stationary mesh, means it is not going to move at all. Okay, it will remain as it is, and the other is called as a rotating mesh. It continuously goes on rotate. Okay, so if you ask me which matrix you are going to prefer, I will prefer the rotating matrix, as the hot fluid will be in a contact with a more surface of that matrix. Okay, in a stationary mesh, hot fluid will be in a contact with a specific, that specific fluid molecules will be in a contact with a specific part only. Okay, and the last one is the direct contact type. The direct contact type means what? It is same as that the both fluid mixed, means what? Air is been mixed with the water, or water, cold water has been mixed with the hot water. Okay, that is called as a direct contact type. It is just similar to that of a boiler. Okay, you have seen tube in tube type of boiler, water in tube type of boiler. Okay, same way. Now, in a heat exchanger, what could be the energy balance equation? Okay, as I have told earlier, there will be two fluid, hot fluid and a cold fluid. Hot fluid, the fluid which is going to give out its energy to the other fluid. Cold fluid, which is going to receive the energy from the other fluid. The energy involved will be a sensible energy. Now, what do you mean by sensible energy? Anyone? Yes, please. What do you mean by sensible energy?
The energy that can be sensed, the one which is not, you know, in the phase change.
Yes, yes, yes. The sensible energy where the temperature change takes place, but no phase change takes place. Okay? The temperature change, mCp delta T, it is called as a sensible energy. Okay? It is a formula to find out the sensible heat transfer. Okay? Where the latent energy, the opposite to the sensible heat is what? A latent energy. Latent heat is nothing but that energy where the phase change occur but the temperature remains same. Here the phase change doesn't take place but the temperature changes. There the phase change occur in a latent heat, phase change occur but the temperature remains same. Okay? So whole this heat exchanger is depend upon this sensible energy only. Okay? So rate at which the hot fluid is going to give out its energy is equal to rate at which the energy gained by the cold fluid. Okay? So mCp delta T hot is equal to mCp delta T of cold. Delta T of hot means what? The change in the temperature of a hot water or a hot fluid, and delta T cold means change in the temperature of a, or a difference in the temperature of a cold fluid. Okay? So delta T hot is the THI minus THE, that is inlet temperature minus outlet temperature. Delta T cold is nothing but a exit temperature of a cold minus inlet temperature of a cold fluid. Okay? And how the heat transfer is going to get? Q equal to mCp delta T, either of a hot fluid or of a cold fluid. Now, one more important thing here is the assumption. In a heat exchanger, what we assume here is that all the energy given by the hot fluid will be taken by the cold fluid. That is our assumption. But in practice, in practical problem, it doesn't stand valid. Why? सिंपल है, जब हीट ट्रांसफर होगा तो किससे होगा? पाइप के मटेरियल से होगा. So pipe material is also going to play a very much important role. ठीक है? It may store some amount of energy. ठीक है? So that case, in that case we called it as a loss. ठीक है? But here, while deriving, while learning this heat exchanger, we must assume that the total amount of the heat given by the hot fluid will be equal to total amount of the heat given by the cold fluid, because we design the heat exchanger to the maximum heat transfer rate, not to the minimum heat transfer rate. ठीक है? It is similarly to your design subject, that factor of safety concept. We design it to the worst condition. Yes or no? Maximum stress, not to the minimum stress. So we design similar way, we design it to the maximum heat transfer rate. So that's why the assumption has been considered here while learning this heat exchanger or designing this heat exchanger. Now next concept is overall heat transfer coefficient. Now what is going to happen if you have tube in tube type? ठीक है, inner tube you have a hot fluid, outer tube you have a cold fluid. ठीक है, so inner tube का एक convection heat transfer coefficient होगा, इनर फ्लूइड का, इनर हॉट फ्लूइड का, आउटर फ्लूइड का, कोल्ड फ्लूइड का कन्वेक्शन हीट ट्रांसफर होगा, एच वैल्यू होगा. ठीक है, एंड पाइप मटेरियल, पाइप विच इज इन बिटवीन द इनर हॉट फ्लूइड एंड द आउटर कोल्ड फ्लूइड, इट विल हैव सम थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी. ठीक है, नाउ ऑल दिस रेजिस्टेंस टुगेदर, इफ आई कंसिडर that resistance, that coefficient which is going to resulted is called as a overall heat transfer coefficient. So it is going to take care of inner and outer heat transfer coefficient, thermal conductivity of a tube material, thickness of a tube, surface area available for the heat transfer, etc. And it is expressed as overall heat transfer coefficient. Now it has been given by UA equal to 1 upon sigma R. Now you will find it confusing, sir. You are saying that there are three resistance, but you have mentioned only two resistance. That is 1 upon H1A1 plus 1 upon H2A2. What about the third resistance, which is due to the K, thermal conductivity, where it is? So the my answer for that is it is very much negligible because we keep minimum thickness. Okay? Why? If we keep minimum thickness, you will get a maximum heat transfer rate. So that term, that resistance offered by the by the tube material or by the tube thickness is considered to be as a negligible. That's why you have only two resistance in this formula. Okay? UAI, it is overall heat transfer coefficient based on the inner area, and UAO, it is the overall heat transfer coefficient based upon outer area. Here AI is nothing but A1 and AO is nothing but 2. Okay? Further, next concept is called as a fouling factor. Now what do you mean by fouling factor? When a water or some refrigerant, okay, or some oil, what is going to happen if it comes in a different temperature surface? Okay, it comes into contact with 100 degree centigrade, it comes into contact with a surface which is maintained at 200 degree centigrade, 300 degree centigrade. What is going to happen to the chemical structure of that water? The water consists of a number of minerals, salts. Okay, so these salts and minerals will get separate out because of the continuous exposure to the temperature difference. Okay, and that impurities or that scale or that salt is going to get deposited over a surface of a tube. Okay, and it will form a layer of an impurities or scale. Okay, so what is going to happen due to the deposition of this impurities, this salt, this minerals over a surface of this pipe? It will result in a high temperature resistance. It will result in a high temperature resistance. So that's why the fouling is not preferred. This heat exchanger is periodically cleaned, just like your water cooler. Okay, they mention last clean. Last time when you visit any workshop, you will see there is a job card over which they mention last date of cleaning of heat exchanger is this. Next date will be this. Why? Because we need to periodically clean it. Otherwise, after getting deposited, this impurities, and if they get deposited, it will hinder the application process. Okay? So it is the deviation of the actual heat flow and the theoretical heat flow is called as a fouling. The fouling, in a technical term, it is the difference between the actual heat flow and the theoretical heat flow. But how it has been formed? It is formed from the deposition of the impurities and a scale. Okay? Now, fouling has been considered while designing the heat exchanger by considering a fouling factor. Okay, but fouling factor, if we consider a fouling factor, we must consider the fouling factor for both side of the tube, inner side of the tube as well as the outer side of the tube, because inner side of the tube you have a fluid, as well as outer side of the fluid you have a, outer side of a tube you have a fluid. So both side you are going to have the fluid. ठीक है. So the fouling factor Fi upon A1 plus Fo upon A2 is been considered for inner side as well as for the outer side respectively. ठीक है. If you see 1 upon UA clean equal to 1 upon UA clean minus F, this is unclean, sorry, here it is unclean, minus F. So clean surface overall heat transfer coefficient in terms of unclean surface minus fouling factor. Okay, so some of the fouling factors are been listed over here. That is सी वाटर के लिए कितना कंसिडर करते हैं, फ्यूल ऑयल के लिए, क्वेंचिंग ऑयल के लिए, स्टीम के लिए, इंडस्ट्रियल एयर के लिए, रेफ्रिजरेंट के लिए. So depend upon the type of a fluid, your fouling factor is going to change. ठीक है. Next one is the LMTD method, or we called it as log mean temperature difference method of a heat exchanger analysis. Yeah, it has been mentioned by theta m or delta t. Theta m, in some of the book they have mentioned it as theta m, in some of the book they have mentioned it as delta tm. ठीक है, it is one and the same. It is log mean temperature difference. It is defined as the temperature difference with which maintain constant, with which when maintained constant along the length of a heat exchanger will give the same rate of heat transfer as that of an actual heat exchanger. We are going to find out the equivalent heat transfer, equivalent log mean temperature difference. ठीक है. That equivalent log mean temperature is going to, after putting that value in the formula, you will get the actual heat transfer, heat exchanger, the heat transfer in the actual heat exchanger value. ठीक है. So log mean temperature difference, it has been used, it has been the method of analysis of a heat exchanger used when inlet and the outlet temperature of the fluid, both the fluid, hot fluid as well as cold fluid. So THI is the inlet temperature of a hot fluid, THO is the outlet temperature of a hot fluid, TCI is the inlet temperature of a cold fluid, TCO is the outlet temperature of a cold fluid. Okay. Now what do you mean by theta? Theta is the temperature of THI minus TCI, and theta 2 is the temperature difference of THO minus TCO. So theta 1 and theta 2 are the temperature difference at the inlet side and at the outlet side. Okay. Now I have told you parallel flow. When we are going to consider a parallel flow, when both the fluid, that is hot fluid and cold fluid, is going to move in a same direction, this direction as well as in this direction. Okay. So in this case, let us first of all see some assumptions which we have considered for deriving this LMTD, log mean temperature difference. The first assumption is the specific heat of a fluid are constant. That is, the CP value remain constant even if the temperature difference changes. Means यहाँ पे temperature difference change है, यहाँ पे चेंज है, यहाँ पे चेंज है, यहाँ पे चेंज है, सब पॉइंट पे अगर टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस अगर आप कैलकुलेट करते हो वो चेंज होता जाएगा, लेकिन हमने उस हिसाब से स्पेसिफिक हीट को चेंज नहीं किया है. स्पेसिफिक हीट ऑफ द फ्लूइड रिमेन्स सेम. Further, overall heat transfer coefficient is uniform throughout the exchanger. UA remains same. ठीक है. UA value, that is area, then the heat transfer coefficient at the inner side, outer side, it is going to remain same. The third assumption is heat transfer takes place only between the fluid. Yes, I have told you the loss from the heat exchangers are being neglected. This is the major assumption. Major assumption of this analysis. Fourth one is the no temperature gradient present inside the wall. ठीक है, as the thickness is small, you will not find any temperature difference, any temperature gradient inside the wall of the tube. ठीक है, and fifth one is change in the potential energy, kinetic energy are neglected. ठीक है, the potential energy and kinetic energy that we have studied in a case of a pumps. ठीक है, प्रेशर अप होगा, वेलोसिटी अप हो जाएगा तो प्रेशर हेड होगा, वेलोसिटी हेड होगा, वो जो प्रेशर हेड है, वेलोसिटी हेड है, यहाँ पे कंसीडर नहीं किया गया है। ठीक है, बाउंड्री कंडीशंस, व्हाट बाउंड्री कंडीशंस, एट x इक्वल टू 0, theta equal to theta 1, that is equal to thi minus tci, at x equal to l, the length of the tube, theta will be equal to theta 2, that will be equal to tho minus tco. ठीक है, when we consider this boundary condition, we get finally q equal to ua theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by ln of theta 1 by theta 2, while this term is nothing but equal to your log mean temperature difference, that is theta l. थीटा 1 क्या है, तो टी एच आई माइनस टी सी आई है, थीटा 2 क्या है, टी एच ओ माइनस टी सी ओ। ठीक है, यू ए क्या है, ओवरऑल हीट ट्रांसफर कोएफिशिएंट है। नाउ लेट अस check about counter flow heat exchanger. What is going to happen for a counter flow heat exchanger? The fluid is going to move in a opposite direction. The fluid is going to move in a opposite direction. So thi will be the inlet temperature of a hot fluid, tho is the outlet temperature of hot fluid. देखो यहाँ से tho के बगल में ही tci है। ठीक है, प्रीवियस केस में thi के बगल में tci था, क्योंकि वो पैरेलल फ्लो था, ये काउंटर फ्लो है। द फ्लूइड इज गोइंग टू मूव इन अपोजिट डायरेक्शन, so tci is the inlet temperature of a cold fluid and tco is the outlet temperature of a cold fluid. So the temperature profile will be this way. ठीक है, so assumptions of a parallel flow will remain same, all the assumptions will be remain same. Boundary condition is going to also remain same, only the value of theta 1 and theta 2 is going to change. Here what will be theta 1 value, anyone? It is the difference between thi minus tco. What is theta 2 value? It is the difference between tho minus tci. After putting these values, you are going to get the q value similar to that of a parallel flow heat exchanger, that is q equal to ua theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by ln of theta 1 by theta 2, where formula remains same, only the value of theta 1 and theta 2 are going to change. Okay, I have listed out the value of theta 1 and theta 2 for parallel flow and for a counter flow in this table. Yeah, this change is going to be observed. Okay, now this was all about a parallel flow and a parallel flow and a counter flow. What about other type of a heat exchanger? If we consider the parallel flow and a counter flow heat exchanger, the counter flow heat exchanger will have a maximum heat transfer rate. So that's why the LMTD for other type of heat exchanger will be in a terms of a counter flow heat exchanger only. Means what? LMTD of other type of heat flow will be a function of the LMTD of a counter flow. Okay? So F is nothing but a correction factor, and this correction factor is been calculated from R and P value. Okay, R value, it is the ratio of the temperature difference. Again, P value, it is again the ratio of the temperature difference. But this temperature difference will be numerator and the denominator is going to be changed. Okay. Further, procedure to find out LMTD, you can first of all find out Q value, then you can find out UA value. Okay. After finding out theta m value, you just put in the value of Q equal to UA theta m. Therefore, you will get a value either of a value, that is area related to the parameter, or you can easily find out the value of Q, that is heat transfer rate, by using LMTD method. The next method for analysis, heat transfer analysis, is called as the NTU effectiveness method. NTU is what? Number of transfer unit effectiveness method. Now, why to learn this method if we have learned LMTD method? Because the LMTD method has some drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? The LMTD method is only applicable when you know the inlet and exit temperature of both the fluid. ठीक है, ये अगर फिगर में आपको अगर इनलेट और एग्जिट टेम्परेचर ही दिया नहीं है तो आप LMTD मेथड यूज कर सकते हैं क्या? नो, नॉट एट ऑल, बिकॉज इट विल रिमेन अननोन. ठीक है, दैट विल रिमेन अननोन. So hence one cannot predict exit temperature of a certain heat exchanger. So this drawback is been overcome by this method that is called as NTU effectiveness method. ठीक है, so NTU effectiveness method works on the principle that temperature is depend upon the effectiveness method. The temperature is depend upon the heat capacity of a fluid, overall heat transfer coefficient, and area for the heat exchanger. So all these parameters, the temperature is depend upon all these parameters: heat capacity of the fluid, overall heat transfer coefficient, and area available for heat exchanger. So first one is the effectiveness. Effectiveness is correlated with overall heat transfer coefficient. NTU, it is correlated with the area, and capacity ratio, it has been correlated with the heat capacity of a fluid. ठीक है. Now what is capacity ratio? It is equal to, in a general way, MCP small divided by MCP large. Now what do you mean by small? What do you mean by large? First of all, calculate MCP of hot fluid, then MCP of cold fluid. Compare those values. Whichever is small, take it in a numerator. Whichever is large, take it in the denominator. So that's why the value of a C will be in between 0 to 1. It will not exceed beyond 1, as it is MCP of a small value divided by MCP of a cold value. यहाँ पे फॉर दिस केस हॉट वाटर के लिए MCP मैंने कैलकुलेट किया 30, कोल्ड वाटर के लिए MCP मैंने कैलकुलेट किया 10. सो इट विल बी 10 अपॉन 30. सो इट विल बी 1 अपॉन 3, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 0.333. ठीक है. अगर उल्टा होता है, हॉट वाटर का 10 आता है, कोल्ड वाटर का MCP 30 आता है, तो फिर भी आपका कैपेसिटी रेशियो तो सेम ही रहेगा, दैट इज इक्वल टू 1/3 ओनली. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज द इफेक्टिवनेस. इफेक्टिवनेस, इट इज द रेशियो ऑफ Q एक्चुअल अपॉन Q मैक्सिमम. नाउ व्हेन Q एक्चुअल तो दोनों का रहेगा, एक तो हॉट फ्लूइड करेगा और कोल्ड फ्लूइड करेगा, लेकिन Q मैक्सिमम कब होगा? जब उसका सिस्टम का टेम्परेचर, हायर टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस अचीव होगा. Now, what will be the higher temperature achieved in the system? It will be THI minus TCI. How I have taken THI minus TCI? Look at this figure. So, what will be the maximum temperature? THI यहाँ पे है और TCI यहाँ पे है. तो इन दोनों का मैं अगर सब्सट्रैक्ट करता हूँ, डेफिनेटली मेरे को टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस ज्यादा मिलेगा, rather than THI minus THO और THI minus THO और THI minus TCO. ठीक है. मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस इन अ सिस्टम क्या रहेगा? THI minus TCI. Similar way for a parallel flow also, THI minus TCI will have a maximum temperature difference. So maximum temperature difference अगर होगा तभी जाके मेरा Q max हो जाएगा. ठीक है, Q max हो जाएगा. So that's what it is needed while calculating the effectiveness. ठीक है. So now maximum temperature difference कब रहेगा? जब हमारा हीट कैपेसिटी रेट स्मॉल होगा. मतलब उसने हीट को स्टोर नहीं करना चाहिए, उसने हीट को कंडक्ट करना चाहिए. अगर स्टोरेज हो जाता तो सीपी रेट ज्यादा हो जाता. ठीक है, लेकिन सीपी रेट हमें कम रखना है क्योंकि मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर ग्रेडियंट चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाई You can see case 1, if cold fluid is having a lesser MCP than the hot fluid, what will be the effectiveness? It is Q actual upon Q max. So MCP of cold into delta T of cold divided by MCP of a cold which is lower into THI minus TCI. ठीक है, MCP cold will get cancelled. It will be effectiveness will be the ratio of TCO minus TCI divided by THI minus TCI. ठीक है, उल्टा अगर होता है केस MCP MCH is less than MCPC, that is hot fluid MCP is less than cold fluid MCP. So what is going to happen? Hot fluid into delta T divided by MCP into THI minus TCI. So hot fluid MCP of hot fluid MCP of hot fluid will get cancelled. So it will be ratio of THI minus THO. ठीक है, THI minus THO. So in general formula, if someone asks you define effectiveness, so it is the ratio of delta T of a fluid with a minimum MCP value divided by THI minus TCI. Divided by THI minus TCI. The next is number of transfer unit. It will be equal to UA upon MCP small. Here UA is the overall heat transfer coefficient. MCP small is the minimum heat capacity rate. ठीक है, so practical acceptable range of NTU is 0 to 5. NTU is directly depend upon a length. As you can see, NTU is equal to UA. So area is in the numerator. So that's why NTU is directly depend upon length. So NTU correlation for parallel flow heat exchanger, it will be given as assumption. If you are saying assumption, MCP of hot is lesser than MCP of cold. That is, heat capacity of hot fluid is smaller than the heat capacity of cold. So effectiveness, it has been given by. So this NTU correlation is going to relate effectiveness, capacity ratio, and NTU. So effectiveness equal to 1 minus E raised to minus 1 plus C NTU divided by 1 plus C. ठीक है, for counter flow heat exchanger, it will be effectiveness equal to 1 minus E raised to minus NTU into 1 minus C divided by 1 minus C into E raised to minus NTU into minus 1 minus C. ठीक है, so this all the derivations we have taken in the regular lecture. I have also posted my notes on my website, so you can go through that website and you can find out the notes of this unit, and you can find out how we have derived this relation. Okay, but at now present, as you have the online mode, that too in a MCQ format, just remember this two relation. If it is 1 minus C, then it is counter flow. It is 1 plus C, then it is parallel flow. Just remember in a short. ठीक है, a special case में क्या होता है, C is equal to 1. When C is equal to 1, if you put C is equal to 1 in above equation, effectiveness will be equal to NTU upon N plus 1 plus NTU. Now, there are two cases where condenser and the evaporator. Condenser में क्या होता है, the heat is been given out to the surrounding at a constant temperature. ठीक है, in evaporator, the heat is taken out from the surrounding at a constant temperature. ठीक है, so here what is going to happen when there is a condenser, heat is going to get outside, so MCP will be infinity. ठीक है, when in a case of evaporator, heat is going to absorb by the system. Who is going to absorb? This cold fluid is going to absorb. So MCP of cold will be equal to the infinity. So MCP of hot is infinity is equal to infinity. It will be for condenser. MCP of cold is equal to infinity. It will be for evaporator. Okay. Now the design aspect of a heat exchanger. What aspect we consider? We consider heat transfer rate, flow rate, then fouling factor, then outer shape and outer dimension, and strength factor. Okay. There are some special case where MCP of hot equal to MCP of cold. What is going to happen? The temperature difference is going to same. Theta 1 is equal to theta 2. In that case, what is going to happen? no heat transfer is going to take place because the temperature difference are same. ठीक है? So if the heat transfer takes place, then that will be due to the latent heat only. It will not due to the sensible heat. But this heat exchanger is totally depend upon the sensible heat only. Okay? All of you have understood this revision. This completes the revision of unit number 6. Any doubts till now?
Yes.
Please ask. Yes, please. Tejas. Any doubts, Tejas?
Sir,
No, sir.
counter flow.
Yes, please. Counter flow. So what do you mean by
Counter.
counter flow?
No, sir.
Counter
No, sir.
flow. Huh.
Counter flow heat exchanger have high efficiency.
Yes. High,
Uh,
not efficiency. You can say effectiveness, high effectiveness. Why is it so?
Because
What will
in opposite direction.
what will happen if the fluid is moving in opposite direction? क्या होगा fluid opposite direction में होता है तो? Just 1 minute. I am getting call from authority. Just think upon it. Yes. Sorry for the inconvenience. We will continue this revision lecture.